Hello and welcome back to part 21B of our Let's Get Cooking series. And in this one we're going to be adding sockets to meshes and starting on some of the other blueprints. The way the system works is you have a dedicated socket for a particular item. So when we buy the items, if that socket is empty, it will find that it will fill that socket or find a next available empty socket. As I said before, I do have a more complex, like more shelf, where you've got a box and you can left click and it puts it on the box at an available point and sorts out the rows and everything automatically. I decided that was too complex to put in this series, so I'm going to make it as its own series, and then I'll make a video showing you how to implement it. So let's get going. So how do we add a socket? Well, if you look up the top here, you've got your details where you add all your textures and meshes, or your textures and your collisions. And I just want to check my simple collision is still there. Yeah, it is. And next to it, you have another tab called Socket Manager. We simply click on that Add key. And you'll see it places the socket at the 00 point of your mesh. So if your 00 point of your mesh is in the middle, it would be in the middle. Which is good. We can move it to wherever we want, as you can see, but we don't, it's very difficult to judge how we want it. But fortunately, it's given us a preview static mesh. So in this case, I'm going to use the bread. And now we've got our bread, we can actually position it exactly where we want on our shelf or fridge or cupboard or whatever it is you're using. Okay, so first of all, for this system to work, you need to be very careful with your naming conventions for your sockets. And what I've done is I've taken the first one or two letters from each item. In this case, like bread, so I'm just going to take the first one. Underscore 0 will be the first socket. And now, like things in the world, you can hold down Alt, drag it, and you'll get a new one. This is gone to 3 because something bizarre has happened. So we have to be careful of the name. So make sure you rename it to 1. Sometimes, if you try and select more than one from over here, and you think, okay, well, I'll just drag these out. Okay, this time it's worked, but you see, look, the naming conventions are all a bit strange. So this should be 2. So let's rename this one first. Rename this one to 3. So you have to be wary, or not weary, but you have to be conscious of making sure they're named correctly. You can see you can go on and so on and so forth. Occasionally when you do it, and I bet you it's not going to do it because I'm on camera. Oh yes, it's done it for me. Okay, it's not put anything in it. It's made the socket, but it's not put anything in it. Now, if that happens, just simply rename it, because it's named it 0, rename it to the correct name. In this case, it would be 4. And you see you've got your mesh back there. It's just a little bit of a bug. And once you're happy with it, you go ahead and save your item. I'm not going to make this sit through everything and show you all the 4 products. I do have a mesh I've already populated here. So I'm going to be using that from now on. It's because I'd already done it in a previous video attempt. Okay, so while I switch over for that and show you what it is, I'm going to pause the video and we can continue. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done it like this. My number is from right to left on the top row. I don't know why, but that's how it ended up. So I've got a row of bread, some coffee, and some jams. Now later on we will be having more than one jam. At the moment I've just got the strawberry jam, but we will be adding the new meshes for that. which we should have if you've been following along. If you don't have, I'll show you how to make them anyway. So we've now got our shelf set up. And again, any new unit you put in that you want to store stuff on, you just do the same thing. And you'll see later on, I've made stands for the cups for the coffee machine. I've made stands for the food box packaging. Just very simple models, just spawn points basically, and it's a similar idea. So let's get on to the next part. The next part we're going to be doing is a little bit tedious. We're going to be making up a load of blueprints. So let's get going. So I'm going to save and close that. Open up my test project. Like I said, we see some things on here that you don't recognize, you haven't got in yours. Don't panic. It's because I've had to go back after doing other videos because I've realized there's some things I wasn't happy with in here. So let's first of all make the new blueprints that we require. So we're going to go to our blueprints, our blueprint parents. We're going to make 2 more child ones. So we're going to find our base, BPP base. We're going to create a child, BPP underscore storage. And we're going to, we can just duplicate that, that's fine. And we're going to call this BPP bulk items. And also we are going to add 2 new interfaces. Let's go to blueprint interface. The first one is going to be BPI underscore storage. And the other one is going to be, we can duplicate that and say BPI underscore bulk items. If you want to add all these things to your base one, you can and categorize them. There's nothing wrong in doing that. The reason I've kept them separate is just to try and make it a little bit more clearer for people to know where their stuff is coming from. So, but there is no reason apart from your player and your HUD and your player and your kitchen manager. So these 3 really, and the interact are 4. They should be kept separate. But anything else like storage, utensils, ingredients, containers, where the buttons is different, bulk items and appliances, you could put all of those functions in the BPI base and just have the one, but you'd have to make sure you subcategorize them correctly. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So there's no, it's up to you how you do it. Make sure you save everything. And we're also going to need 2 new data asset classes. So let's go to our data folder. And from our DA base, we're going to make a child, and we're going to call this DA storage. And duplicate that, and DA bulk items. Okay, so we've got our classes all made, ready. I'm just conscious of the time for the video. I'm trying to keep these ones shorter. Okay, make sure you save everything. So let's start with the data assets to start with. Okay, let's open up my test project. So we're going to start with the DA storage to start with. So we're going to open the DA storage. And we're going to add a few new variables. And if you've got a list of variables here and you find it a little bit confusing to keep track, make sure you turn off show inherited, which is exactly what I'm going to do because it just makes it easier for me to know which new ones we've added. Now, before we go ahead and do that, we need to make up a structure and an enum. I think I've already got them here, but I will show you if I have. So let's go to our enum and struct folder, our struct folder. I have one here called socket struct. I'm going to open it up. And in it is, so it's a structure. If you're not sure how to make a structure, right click, go to blueprint, and look right at the bottom there, structure. I've named it S for structure, socket struct. And inside it, I've made a variable called socket of type name, which is a map of type Boolean. Very simple, that's all is in there. Okay, and the next one we're going to need to make is an enum. In fact, there's probably two enums. Bulk item name. Yeah, no, bulk item name, I think is the only one actually. So bulk item name, and we're naming the items we're going to put on our shelves. Always start with none, then butter, bread, coffee, strawberry jam, blueberry jam, so on and so forth, or whatever you have in your game. So we've made that. And I'm just going to double check that I've not put anything additional on here. Yes, I have. So in our e-game item types, we've got two more additions, storage and bulk item. So please make sure you add those. Ingredients name, not changed that at all. Prep stages, I've not changed at the moment. Container type, I haven't changed. And appliance type, I haven't changed. Okay, so it's just those couple of changes you need to do there. Let's go back to our DA storage. And in here, we are going to add 3 new variables. The first one we're going to add is called storage data. And that is going to be of the bulk items name, bulk item names. We're going to make it a map, and it's a map of the socket structure I just showed you. That's quite simply that. The next one is a Boolean. That's a single item. So let's change it over here. Single item, Boolean. And its name is cold storage. And this one is really for the future, where maybe, you know, if it's supposed to be in cold storage, then, and it's not, then we can actually have food going off. Maybe a mechanic I'm thinking about adding. Okay, and then the last one, which is, so these two, the top one and this one, are the main ones that do all the heavy lifting inside the storage to tell us where we can place things. So we're going to say this can contain. In other words, what can we put there, put in it, put on it, whatever it is. And again, this is of type bulk item names. And it's a map. And it's a map of DA underscore ingredients. Object reference. Now you could, oh, sorry, not ingredients. DA underscore bulk items. Now you could have put this in the struct, but it would just make life a little bit more difficult to access it when we need to. So this is easy to do it this way. That's all we're doing for that one. So you can go ahead and close that. I don't think I'll put any functions. No, I haven't. The next one we're going to look at is our DA bulk pack or bulk item. So let's go to our DA bulk items, open this one up, open the full blueprint editor. Again, make sure you hide the variables. And this one is going to be used for showing what the information is in the pack, what we need to spawn, so on and so forth. This is quite a few variables in this one. So we have bulk pack quantity. It's going to be of type integer, so how many are in your pack. We're going to have ingredient in pack, and this is going to be of type DA underscore ingredient. So this one we're going to use to say, okay, this is a bulk pack, but it has this ingredient within it. The next one is going to be actor class. This is going to be of BPP underscore base. Boo, BPP underscore base, and we're going to look for the class reference, the purple one, not the blue one. Okay, this next one makes needs no explanation. So this is price. It's going to be a float. The next one is bulk pack name. And that's going to be about E underscore bulk item names. And this next one is bulk pack. I put it in here. I don't know whether I've used it, so we may remove that later on. Duplicate that. Next one is can pour. So is it something in a package that we can pour? That one we are using. This one, pour time before empty. This is for VFX stuff. Oh, wait. So this is a float. So how long is it pouring for before it's empty? We could do it either via that or via pack quantity. There's two ways we can do that. The next one I'm not going to bother with. And the last one, we can duplicate one of the booleans. Should cold store. And again, we're not implementing this one directly. But it's going to be used maybe in a later mechanic. And I did put a function in here. And this is called give name. I have this horrible habit of doing that. Okay, give name with an output of E bulk item names. Sorry. Bulk item name. And of E bulk item names. We can go ahead and connect that straight away before we forget. Okay, so that's our 2 data assets done. Check on the time. I want to keep these videos a little bit shorter, up to 20 minutes. Now, do I add any extras? I did. And the first one we're going to look at is we did add some. We're going to open up our database because we added some, or I've added some extra things you're going to need in here. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste them just to save time, but and I'll explain them. So the last one you've got, so we're going to need from we don't have, no, we're going to have is pouring, is empty, is on storage, storage transform. We'll go through these in a sec, so don't worry too much. Storage reference, storage socket name, and bulk item name. So bulk item names. Okay, so make sure you compile them. So what is it not happy with? There you go. Sometimes it complains when you have a transform. Okay, so we have is pouring, is empty, is on storage, all booleans. Storage transform, storage reference, storage socket name, and bulk pack name. Okay, we have all of these. Okay, this is on your BPP base. So I just put them. Where did I just put them? Sorry, I just put them in the wrong place. Bear with me, I'll move them back. I'll be right back with you. Okay, sorry about that. Yep, make sure you put it on the wrong one. I put it on DA base. We want it on the BPP base. Okay, you may already have this pouring and this empty already on there, but you need to make sure you've added all of these. Okay, all we need for now. I believe that's all we need for now. Let's double check. Yeah, looks like it. That's what we got on there. Okay, like I say, I'm trying to keep these little ones shorter. I don't want to rush it. So if we end up going on too long, it makes me feel like I need to rush it. So we've set up some of our blueprints. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one here. Then I'm going to go straight ahead and make the next one where we're continuing the blueprint. So you can watch the next one straight after. They will be up within an hour or so of each other. Okay, thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you really like my work, consider joining my Patreon or buying me a coffee. Any queries whatsoever, send me a comment or join my Discord, and you can always chat here if you need any assistance and I can help you. Always free to ask. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.